Hello, hello, dear friend. Welcome back. I treasure recording these, knowing that I get to be in your life and energetically have you in mind. And I thank you for tuning in again and being with me. Before we dive into today's super inspiring episode, I want to share something exciting with you. Today's guest, Helen Malinowski, grew her business from 150,000 a year to over 1.2 million in just 2 years with my help. From 150,000 to 1.2 million in 2 years. And as you'll see from today's episode, she implemented the strategy and the team and the systems. But there is one essential ingredient that often gets overlooked, and that's that we worked on her mindset. You see, Helen made the courageous decision to step past her fears, rewrite her limiting beliefs, and align with the highest version of herself to create the life and the business that she always dreamed of. As you'll hear from this episode, not only did she get to 1.2 million, but she took a large part of this past summer off. Her kids were not even in camp. She had so much time with them. And this mindset piece, this getting out of your fears and making courageous moves in your business is exactly what we do together in my mindset work. And for the first time in a few years, I am launching a 3-day transformative experience for women in business who feel stuck, overwhelmed, or held back by self-doubt or procrastination or fear. And this 3-day mindset event is called Infinite Possibilities, because when you get out of your own way, literally anything is possible, as you'll see from hearing Helen's story today. If you've been thinking, I know that I am meant for more, but I just don't know how to get there, this is your invitation to join us. During the 3 days of infinite possibilities, I will guide you to clear the inner blocks that are holding you back, dream a bigger dream for yourself, and take bold action with faith and courage. The transformations that happen during the event are real. In fact, if you go to the link in bio, look for my 3-day event, Infinite Possibilities, I invite you to read every single success story on the website. And since we're in the early bird period, I just launched the event hours ago. Tickets are only $195 for the all 3-day experience. But this pricing, just so you know, is just for 1 week, and it is available until next Friday. So if you're interested, visit the link in my bio or search Boldheart Infinite Possibilities to learn more. And like I said, read all the details, read the testimonials from women who have completely transformed their lives and businesses. And if it feels like an aligned offer, I would love for you to join us February 25th, 26th, and 27th from the comfort of your own home. You get to work directly with me on your mindset for 3 days for $195. All right, let's jump into today's episode with Helen. You will see exactly how this kind of transformation is possible for you too. Enjoy this incredible episode. And just know that I'm sending you so much love. You are more capable of greatness than you may just realize. Lots of love to you. Enjoy. Hello. I am so happy to welcome you to this next episode of the Fabienne Show. And today I have a member of Boldheart here to share her inspiring story of transformation in her business and going boldly on the path of increasing her impact. And I'd like to introduce you to Helen Malinowski. Helen, welcome to the podcast. Would you be willing to just share with our listeners who you are, what you do, and just give us some context for this conversation?
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Fabienne, for having me today. My name is Helen. I am a small group practice owner of a psychotherapy practice. Our practice focuses on working with people who have trauma and chronic health conditions. And it is, I say small group practice, but it's no longer a small group practice.
We'll talk about that.
But yeah, I'm just really excited to be here and talk about this last 2 years of my journey and growing my business and personal development that's gone along with it.
Yeah. So yeah, you're wrapping up your second year within Boldheart, and take us back to 2 or 2.5 years ago. And what was your situation like? What was your business like? What was your life like? Whatever you want to say about being in this place of, I know I need a change. I know I've probably needed a change for some time. Take us back to those moments 2 years ago.
So 2 falls ago, I had a small practice. I had 2 clinicians working part-time for me, and I was so overwhelmed and burnt out. I remember feeling just very much like I can't quite do this anymore. I'm exhausted. I have small kids. I'm just working too much. I don't know how to get from where I am to where I need to be. And I think our revenue was around maybe $150,000 a year between the three of us. And it was a lot of work.
Were you working on evenings and weekends?
I was doing all our own billing, coordinating all of the intakes for new clients that were coming in, seeing my own clients, doing documentation, providing supervision. I'm like a one-man show, really, is what it felt like. And it was exhausting and it was overwhelming.
Did it feel unsustainable in any way?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, how so?
Absolutely. Well, I just remember getting to a point, I actually went to my annual physical. It might have been like in October 2 years ago. I remember talking to my physician, who I just absolutely loved and who has referred a lot of clients. Like, we have a very good kind of professional relationship, and we overlap. It's a small community, so we overlap in the community. And I remember just sitting there saying, like, I am so burnt out. Like, I almost don't even like what I'm doing anymore, but I don't feel like I have a choice. I have to keep doing it. I have to keep, bringing money into the household and supporting our family. And it felt just very overwhelming and very kind of exhausting. And like, I had a lot of weight on my shoulders and pressure that almost seemed like it was just kind of like too much. I don't want to do it anymore, basically. Yeah. But I didn't have a choice.
Sometimes I've had the pleasure of working with so many women who are in that place where they feel like they are between a rock and a hard place, in the sense that they started their business because they love what they do. They want to make an impact. They want to control their own money and they want to grow. But for many of us women, when we get to that place, we're at 6 figures, and 150 a year is really good. Like, this is the top 5% of business owners in the world. Yes. And yet we can get to this place where it's so overwhelming. We're in a way underpaying ourselves, working more than we would ever agree to work for anybody else. And we start to resent our business.
Exactly.
And yet we would never dream about going back to work for anyone else. So it's like, what now?
What now?
You did decide to take a look at Boldheart. And what was it that you were looking for when you were searching out for us?
Well, so I'll start off by saying, and the boldies here will understand this, I'm a number 9 quick start.
Yeah.
So,
well, that means that you were somebody, right? That's somebody that, how do you say this? You improvise, you're quick to action, or say it in your words.
Well, I feel like I kind of go with my gut, right? Yeah. Like, I'm not a person who spends an awful lot of time researching options or weighing the pros and the cons. I come across something and I have a gut feeling. It's something that's gone into a lot of my hires. I mean, I utilize a lot of the tools that I've learned in terms of like assessments and how to formulate my job postings, but the truth of the matter is, when it comes down to it, I go with my gut. My gut is either says like, this is going to be good or this isn't going to be good.
So when you found, and I'm the same way, I'm a fact finder in the sense that I will look at all the facts, but at the end of the day, I check in with my guides or, you know, my internal guidance system, and I make the decision from my heart, not from my fear.
Yeah.
And what were you saying at the time when you found Boldheart? What was it that you heard that made you say, you know what, this is for me?
I heard that there is all of this stuff about running a business that I instinctively like knew needed to happen, but I had no idea what it was or how to get there. I came across one of your, it's a couple hours, right? It's like an introduction.
Yeah.
You got on and I was like, what on earth is this? What am I doing? What on earth is this? But like I signed up as you started talking and started presenting this material. I was like, this isn't something I can do on my own. Like this is something that I need. I need the information, but I also need the community. I need people to lean on and to help me be accountable to following through on all of these steps. So I came out of that 4 hours thinking, oh my gosh, this is like my place, if that makes sense, right? Like it just had this feeling of this is my place. These are my people. And the interesting thing is there are people who were in that 4 hours who I'm still encountering in this program. You know, we're still like crossing paths. It's a community. So I felt like you have something to offer me, to teach me, to guide me that's going to make all of this possible and not feel like I just don't want to do it anymore. Like it kind of gave me that fire and that sense of purpose.
It's what I've heard. So if you're listening to this and you don't know what Helen is referring to, it's the half-day event that I occasionally do on Zoom. It seems crazy to create a half-day event for the person who has no time. I get it. But what I put forth in that sacred time where female business owners come together and take down the wall around their heart, are able to say, you know what? While I look like I have it all together on the outside, I'm exhausted. I don't know if I can keep going at this pace. It touches my heart. That's why the emotion comes up. And yes, I present a methodology of you don't have to be miserable at six figures. I know how that could be like, oh, champagne problems, but this is very real for somebody who's been building their business, her business for so many years and thought it would be, you know, like the ultimate, to then be completely overwhelmed and wonder if this is really all there is to successful entrepreneurship. What I share in the half day is it doesn't have to be this way. And yet what got you here won't get you there. So for you to go to multiple six figures with 14 weeks of unplugged vacations per year, you have to start doing less. So not only in this event do I cover the 8 pillars that are in my book, The Leveraged Business, but we also talk about the power of community. We talk about the fact that most of us, while we're really intelligent, we don't necessarily hold ourselves accountable, or we talk ourselves out of the big things that we want just because we're in isolation. So you heard this and you saw the power of community. Was there any resistance to joining the program at that moment? Or were you like, I'm doing it?
I'm doing it.
I'm doing it.
Yeah. This isn't something this is something I've worked on, but there was some fear of the cost of it.
Yeah,
and,
for sure.
You know,
The cost, the commitment, will it work? Will I show up?
Yeah, I would say the first couple months, it almost felt, I think the phrase is like I'm drinking from a fire hose. Like, oh my gosh, what did I sign myself up for?
There's a lot here.
What did I sign myself up for? But the change happened so quickly. Things started to change so quickly.
Would you tell us what started to change quickly and how did it have its impact? Just take us through everything, because I know that there are some women who will listen to this who are in your position and they kind of want to know what a life in the day or a quarter or a month in the day or whatever, you know what I mean, is like when you make that decision to invest in yourself and your future and just kind of say, yes, I need help. What did it look like for you to make all the changes? What changes did you make?
Well, I would say that the first thing was the accountability, right? So having someone that every morning we just shot each other a little text and we said, what are you working on today? I'm working on this. I'm working on that. And then what did you do yesterday? That was incredibly helpful and not something I really realized that I needed, but I didn't really have anyone that I was talking to in that way about what my goals were. The second thing that was a scary leap for me was the idea of hiring an assistant, which is this concept of freeing up our time.
Yeah.
But it's also letting go of a piece of what you've had, a control over, learning how to hire that person. Who's the person that's going to be the best person to work with me? And I can tell you, the first person I hired was not the best person.
Mhm.
And I am lucky that I let her go.
Yeah.
It worked out very nicely. And then
Yeah.
the next person that came on, I was like, oh, now I know who I need. I know what I need and who
Yeah.
I
And
need.
you were mentioning just a few moments ago about the hiring process that we teach. Most people, and me in the beginning, just hire somebody because we like them. Yeah, we look at their resume and have you done, but we take it a big step forward where we teach you how to use assessments so that you hire the person who's not only got the experience and the knowledge, but who is wired for the job so that you can trust and finally let go of the control because you've got the perfect person in place. Sometimes the first person we hire, we don't really follow the system fully. I've heard this so many times because we're like, okay, well, I have somebody who's like almost there, right? But
Exactly.
it's about learning this process for hiring using a methodology that I've been honing for 25 years. And finally, when you have embodied this new way of being like, I deserve only the highest support possible, and I will do everything it takes to attract that person, train that person, and keep that person, it changes everything.
And it doesn't have to break the bank.
No. It's so affordable. We have these preconceived ideas that rock star help or world-class support costs a lot. You might remember me saying somebody who's world-class is just as affordable as somebody who's mediocre. You just need to have a system for finding the people who are world-class, and they're just as affordable and part-time. I have one person who's full-time on my team, and it's because she's been here with us for 10 years. Everybody else is part-time and affordable, and it changes your business. How has it changed your business to have people supporting you?
First off, we are breaking $1 million in revenue this year.
Well, you have to say that one more time.
Breaking $1 million in revenue this year.
Wow. So in 2 years, you went from 150 to $1,083,333.33 a month.
We're going to be over that.
Wow.
We're going to be over that. Yeah.
In 2 years.
We went from hiring, there was 3 of us. We have a team of, I think, 21.
Wow.
Right.
Oh, I have chills everywhere, Helen.
I know. It's amazing. And it's not just helping. I look at the other numbers. We served 50 clients a week. We're serving, 220 clients a week. We're employing people. We're meeting the needs of our community. It's awesome.
So you 5x'd the number of clients. Have you 5x'd your hours?
No. I think I've reduced my hours. I also just hired a new billing person yesterday. So she's starting next week. We'll reduce my hours even more because we were in a gap, but hire slow, fire fast.
I always say that.
We needed to find the right person.
So what do you think you were working in terms of hours 2 years ago? You were working how many hours a week? And once this billing person is fully ensconced in your business, what do you think your hours will be per week?
So I was working definitely all the hours that my kids were in school. So that was like an 8-hour day, 40 hours a week. Plus I would put time in the morning before anybody got up, and I would put time in the evening, either after dinner or after people have gone to bed. So I was easily doing 50 plus 60 hours, putting time in on the weekends, getting kind of caught up on things. Now I'm still doing a little bit in the mornings and a little bit in the evenings, but my work day is really like 9:30 to 3. I take my holidays. I don't work on days where the kids don't have school. Friday, they don't have school. Tomorrow, I'm not working. I'm not planning on working.
Yeah.
And the after hours is really the billing stuff. So once that's gone, and the work that I'm doing is work that I want to be doing.
Yeah.
Right? It's so enjoyable. It's talking to people. It's networking, it's supporting my clinicians in their learning, it's building programs, and it's all the stuff that that's my passion, really. So it doesn't feel like work. It really doesn't feel like work. Yesterday was a day where I was like, oh my gosh, it's been 7 hours. I don't even feel like I've worked at all. It was just a good, interesting conversations and space to think about things and make decisions and come up with new ideas.
Mm. What was it like this past summer? Well, okay, so let's go back to before you joined the program, what were summers like?
My kids went to camp.
Yeah.
Right? They went to camp all day long, or daycare. My little guy was still in daycare. So they went to camp or daycare. They were there all day. I worked and they went to camp or daycare. This summer, we had morning activities for them. Not even every morning of the week.
So you were able to spend a lot more time with your kids?
A lot more time with my kids. I learned what I'm going to do next summer because it was a learning curve, but I pulled way back from the business. I sort of embraced this idea of let's see how things are running and how far I can pull back. And then where do I need to step back in? And that's the stuff that we're going to tighten up.
Everything is a work in progress. At least in my life, I try something. I boldly try something and say, okay, if it works, great. If it, quote, doesn't work, I'm going to learn and apply my learnings for the next time around. My highest value in business is always improving. I always want to improve the program. I always want to improve the experience in my business. I always want to improve every single aspect of the business so that it feels like a wonderful place to work in and for the members of Boldheart to be in.
Exactly. That you're creating and cultivating this place where your employees are excited about what they're doing and coming to work. They feel supported and they feel like this is a place that's a home to them. Also that your clients, your people who are members of your community feel that this is a home to them, that it's a place that they are comfortable.
Where do you think you would be now at the end of 2024 if you hadn't stepped into Boldheart and made that leap of faith from your heart, from your gut? Would you be at 1 million this year and maybe probably 2 million next year and 3 million the next year? You wouldn't be.
I wouldn't be. No, I'd probably be where I was. I don't think much. I mean, certainly things change, right? Like I may have made some steps in a certain direction, but I also think that there was a part of me that was being drawn towards some form of business coaching. I just didn't know what that was going to look like. I hadn't quite, in hindsight, I can say, oh yeah, I've been kind of like pulled in this direction, but I didn't know what that was going to look like. I have to say, I was talking with a friend of mine this morning. We run